Cheers, guys. So here we are, July 12th, Sunday morning here, 2026. So I finished welding all the back on here where I wanted to, and I put a smear of filler. This is a quiet job that I can do on a Sunday morning. And I generally wear a mask if I'm making a lot of dust, but just doing this, I don't need it. I'm not stirring up a lot of dust like you do when you run into DA sander. I'm kind of big on protecting my lungs. Polluted them enough when I was young. Diesel fuel and everything else. Diesel smoke, rather. Tire smoke from doing burnouts in my race car. Hard as I tried to get the smoke to stay out of my car, somehow it always creep in. When I would do a burnout, I ended up getting smoke in the cars. Just about everyone I built. This would creep up through the joints, right out of the wheel wells. So I made kind of a mess in here when I was welding those holes in. And I am hiding a lot. What I did was I just took the grinder and I ground down as much as I could. And I filled over it, and it's what I call rough terrain, and the filler gets right down inside the rough terrain and fills it in. You can hide it. You don't want it to peel off, so I get as much of the the slag off, and I get it smooth as I can. But on this area here, it's under the hood, and filling will do just fine. Fill it in, and then I'm going to paint it with that black tar undercoat. I try to not leave the metal exposed any longer than I have to. So generally I'll weld, I'll clean up, and then I'll put some primer on it the same day, and I'll leave it to the atmosphere, especially in humid weather like we have here now. Smoothing this out, and I'm going to add a little more in some areas here. But I like to build it up slowly, smooth it out as much as I can, and then put a little more. So what I ended up doing on the end was just filling in along the top. Along here I put that strip in to connect the two. And then on this end I just filling it in. I tacked it in, and then I'm just using filler now to cover over. I apologize for my camera work yesterday. Apparently I gave you guys a ride looking at the dashboard, most of it. And you probably can't even see my whole head, I don't know, but I just set the camera up the best angle I can figure it's going to work, and I shoot it. And I only shoot it once, so I try not to mess up too much. But as I said, I don't know, I've called this the roof several times instead of a hood. I mean, I don't know, it just comes out of my mouth. And I don't edit it out, it's just me at 65, I guess. Not enough coffee in my head yet, maybe it's early in the morning. I come out early because I get up at 4, I've never really been able to sleep past 4 a.m. in my entire life. Used to drive my friends crazy. I'd show up at their door 6 o'clock. What you guys doing? We're sleeping. I was ready to go, man. I'd end up go dig, if the tide was right, I'd go dig clams, or if I had other work, I'd go get started. Sometimes I'd be raking leaves, or even the people I would work for said, boy, you're an early starter. But I always learned to beat the heat, especially in the summer. If you get out there right at the break of day and work till about 10 o'clock, you'd be surprised how much you can get done. And then when it starts to get hot, I'm at the beach. Yeah, I grew up in a beach town. And how things have changed there, it's all the homes are being built on stilts now because of the hurricanes and stuff. They have to build them, they start off on the second floor. You got like 3 and 4 story monstrosities now blocking up their neighbors' sun and everything else. It's not the same place I grew up anymore. I've lived away for a while, and then I came back to Rhode Island. Rhode Island's not a bad state. It has a lot of good about it. Other than the politics, it's a great state. If you could just get rid of all the people that want to think they need to control my life for every little aspect of my life, you know. They're always trying to pass another tax to save the world. That's the only problem we got here in New England is the politics. Everything else is great. I love driving over the bridges and seeing the ocean and taking rides up around Ocean Drive in Newport. It's all beautiful ocean scenery and the mansions and stuff. Enjoyed that my whole life. I can go up there 3-4 times a year and still have fun just driving around. Dude. It runs all along the waterway, and so hold on one sec, I get a new song. Looks like Sunday with the Doors. So I'm using a good coarse paper. It's a 125. It's a 60 grit. I go after. See what I mean? 60 grit, and then I go over it with 125 to get the scratch marks out. Knock it down with 60 grit until I start to see some metal poking through here, and I'll get out of that area and metal poking through. That'll tell me where I need to just add a little more filler now. Let me get this corner cut down. You can only hide so much with the, if you use like rock guard, you know how it gets crinkly. But you can't hide stuff with it. You have to still, even with the rock guard, you got to clean out the scratches and stuff. Or it's so obvious. At least to me it is. I'm the type of guy that will pick a car apart. I won't talk about it in front of the owner. But I'll pick a car apart when I look at it. I don't know. I don't comment like I say to the owner. For instance, there was this guy. He just got his car out of the paint shop and he wanted to make this show, and he was a big rush. And instead of taping all around his door jambs when he went to hang the doors to protect the paint, he ended up chipping a bunch of paint putting the door on, and it was so obvious. He was in a rush. He didn't take the precautions. Sometimes it's the little things that'll screw up your day. You just spend all that money for a paint job, and then you don't take the time to tape it up and protect the paint when you're installing a door. You know, it's pretty simple. You just take the tape and just go around it and clean with 2.5 inch tape it off, put the door on, take the tape off. I know it sounds simple, but sometimes, like I say, people just get so impatient. And that's the problem with having long-term. It's like when you're working on something for years and years, you want to drive it, that's why what I do is I get them into a drivable state. I don't even touch the body or do a lot of fabrication until I have it running and driving. Then I get that out of my system, I drove it, then I'll paint it. That's how I do it, and it seems to help. I don't know how you guys do it. Yeah, I'm sure everybody has their own method. Okay, so I'm down to the ocean floor, as they say, on this side. Got to switch around now. So instead of taking my blowgun and blowing all that dust off, I have a vacuum that I use, and it's the HEPA filter, so it doesn't blow dust out. I found that it's better to vacuum up the dust than it is to take an air hose and blow it away and get it everywhere, because later on I find it up all over my shelves and everything else. So little things I learned about doing body work. And the vacuum is a big part to, like I say, keep the shop from getting, even when you're doing heavy sanding, if you just take a shop vac and put a HEPA filter in it, a HEPA filter filters down to, I think it's down to like 3 or 4 micron, which is, might be more, but that's about what you need for dust. And it makes a difference in your shop, like I say later on, because when you blow that dust in the air, you know it ends up on everything, including the vehicle you're working on. And in your lungs, when you're not wearing a mask, it's still kicking around, so. This is 1971, this album. What I do is I pick a year, on YouTube, I go like 1970, I might put heavy rock, or I'll just put rock. And these videos come up, and like I say, because I'm not monetized, I can use doors, I can use any video I want. Sometimes I'll get it'll say can't be seen in some countries. And when I did a little further into it, I found out that those countries were like Russia, Belarus. What do I care if Russia and Belarus can't see? It's Kazakhstan or something. I don't care if they don't. It's not like they're going to be watching my videos. Can it get seen in the US, Canada, UK? Yes, it can. So that's all I care about. New Zealand. Got people that watch down in down under there. Australia. Like Becca down under. Watching Chad. He could use some music, but he would have to use that YouTube music that's like imitation rock and roll. I don't know. It's not the juice. I like the juice. Yesterday, after I welded this, I just put this brown primer on there. I found out that something that's on my list, so I can cut the louvers in here. I need like almost a 5.5 inch disc to get in that hole with the grinder, and then I'm going to make a louver in there, which will allow air to go in here and out there, or in there and out here, whichever. And that'll allow some air to move between the two panels and keep that vented out and dry. Plus it'll be undercoated, so, and that'll just give me even more access to spray the undercoat in when I do the louvers in there. And that's the bottom side of the hood today is where I'm working. This was all tacked together, like I said. So it's all solid now. I decided to leave this little access hole here and just fill in the cap, and that's what I ended up doing, welding all of it together. And I'm just putting some filler over the edges there, so the edges are kind of rounded over, and then it'll all get the undercoat. Except, oh yeah, I showed you this. So I was cleaning up under the hood, and I noticed there was a white spot on that side. I found the data tag for it. So I kind of just figured I want to tape this off and try to. Jeez, got dirty again. But this is the service parts identification tag. Tells you what was put in. Tinted windshield, air conditioning, all the different. Saddle fan company. I don't know. There's stuff I don't recognize that would be camper stuff. You know what I mean? Deluxe front appearance, whatever that means. Can barely read it. I tried to clean it up a little bit more, but it's got like that black stuff is stuck, and I don't want to go too heavy on it. So I've been lightly cleaning it with Windex to try to just get off as much as I can. And then I'm just going to cover it over with some paper and tape when I do the undercoat, just so I can try to save that a little bit. What do I need it for? Parts identification. It says it right there. Service parts identification. Can't you read? Hold on. Damn. So me and Connie, see what I mean? Me and Connie are gonna go out riding later. Usually take the 48, or today we're gonna take the 36, and we'll go out, maybe have lunch someplace, fish and chips, or go down to the. We don't go to like sit down restaurants. We go to these summertime restaurants, fish and chips. There's a lot of food trucks that set up around, and I like to go try their stuff sometimes. Sometimes they got some good stuff going on. It's the 60s DJ coming at you live. It's a guy I found on YouTube that I listen to his music, and he allows it to be shared on YouTube.
Too bad, it's showtime. We're blending the hits of the Vietnam War era with the real hits of the
Start to see the ocean floor, yeah. Stop sanding. It's tight up in here.
Here we go. First up, the innocence before the chaos. 1963, May, the Beach Boys. The US president had increased the amount of advisors in Vietnam to about 900 at that point. American pop culture was booming, soft rock, symbolizing.
A lot of us remember watching the Vietnam War on the 6 o'clock news. And I remember thinking I would see my uncle when they were showing the news. He was over there.
In the charts, the Beach Boys, suffering the USA.
Oh boy. They always got to throw a commercial in. So this has got to be a pretty boring video watching me sand. But this is what I do. This is car building 101. I mean, it's time, and a lot of it is real boring. And I know TV kind of makes it, exciting. They throw the drama in there. One of the worst shows, which was the best show I liked and it became the worst show, was American Chopper, when they started fighting on camera. And everybody, I guess, on the producer side thought it was gonna, oh, this will be great. People see the reels. I didn't want to see it. I wanted to see choppers built. I wanted to see fabrication. I wanted to see wiring. I wanted to see paint. I didn't want to see some guy throwing. I quit watching. I never had cable either. I used to stay at my girlfriend's house and on that night, and she watched it and I watched it. She had cable at her house. Back when I worked, I used to stay with her a lot up in Newport because I worked in Newport. And then on the weekends, we would stay at my house to get away from the city. And that's how it worked out for a lot of years. And she'd come out here and help me work on this house. I literally lived in a construction zone for a little over 12 years. I would move in the apartment, gut it, fix it up, and as soon as it got looking nice, I'd move out and let somebody else rent it. And move into the next apartment. Or I switched with the tenant one time. He moved into the good apartment and I moved into his. But I got the place fixed up and it's making me an income now, and that's what was important, is to be able to get it done. Well, I still can, because I damn sure can't do that kind of work today. That was a lot of work. Day and night, working a full-time job and then working on this property. Looks like I gotta get a little more filler in there. I got a little void. This is pretty much ready for another coat of filler. And this will be ready for another coat of primer. So you see what's going on here on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. Got my fan set up in here. This beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. Look at that sun coming up, making my grass grow. All right, guys. See you tomorrow on Bad Chad.